Hello guys, this is a review of two very different movies, Pumpkinhead and Jennifer's Body. It's Halloween season, so let's just roll with it. I know that they don't have anything to do with each other. This DVD actually comes out with the limited edition cover. It's not part of the actual cover, but it's just like a little thing, a slip that you could put in right here. So I just want to show you real quick. Let's start with Jennifer's Body. It obviously stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's very famous. I know who she is. It's just that I kind of forgot how to pronounce her last name. This movie is supposed to be a vampire movie. You know, just a little backstory of how I got to buy this and watch this. I've been hearing about Jennifer's Body for a very long time. It's very famous because of Megan Fox, I believe. Megan was super big when I was in high school. Like, all the guys wanted to be with her. All the girls wanted to be like her. It was just something that was like, and I guess some girls also and some guys like it. Like, but it was a different time back when I was in high school, even though it wasn't that long ago. But this movie, it caught my attention, of course, but I don't know. I always felt like it was gonna be kind of dumb. Like, have you guys watched the movie Tamara, by the producers of Final Destination? I have to review the movie because I really like it, but I feel like this one is just like that. It's basically the same exact thing. And you know what? This whole like bully girl has been, and now I'm gonna get revenge, has been done many times, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because especially in the horror community, you could only get so many ghosts, so many demons, so many vampires, you know. But like I said, we've seen Carrie, we've seen so many movies like this. That's not the problem. The problem is the execution and what you're gonna do with it, your performance, the writing, everything, the effects, all of those things. This movie, well, let me tell you what it's about. So Megan is I'm just gonna call them by their names. Megan is this really hot, popular cheerleader. She's best friends with a very unknown Amanda. She's not cool. She's like the nerdy type. She has a little boyfriend, but that's basically the whole backstory to them. Is just like, she's a hot girl, she's not, Amanda's not, and they're best friends. They go to a rock concert, and at the rock concert, for some reason, Megan decides to go with them. I guess she gets hypnotized, or they give her a drink. I kind of forgot. It's really besides the point. But they manage to convince her one way or another to get into the van with them. They burn the bar, or the place where the concert was taking place at, and they take her over into the woods next to this waterfall. Very pretty place. And they do a ritual. They perform a ritual for fame. They want to be rich, successful, and they had to sacrifice a virgin. And she told them that she was a virgin, but she wasn't a virgin. So the ritual goes wrong, and she becomes like a succubus, but a vampire and a succubus. And then she comes back. She's supposed to be dead, I guess, but she's not dead. She comes back as a vampire, and like, we know those rules, right? You have to keep eating if you want to stay looking young, fresh, and alert. She only kills guys, but she wants to kill Amanda's boyfriend at one point in time. Amanda, like, she suspects that there's something going on, like something wrong, but can't really put her finger on it, because we as humans don't just say, oh, she came back as a succubus. But then Megan explains what happened to her, and Amanda feels bad, but at the same time, she doesn't want to stop doing what she's doing. So now her boyfriend is in danger, and they get into a fight. And at the very end, Amanda, I think she manages to cure her, and then she ends up taking her place. And there's like alternate endings. Then we see that the band members all get slaughtered. And that's what the movie's about. And you know, on paper, like the way that I'm explaining it, for some reason, while I was explaining, I was like, this is such a cool concept. This is like, we could do a lot with it. It's so much fun. But the movie itself, in my opinion, it really wasn't that much fun. I didn't finish saying how I got to watch this movie. I heard by Diablo Cody, who's the director, and I think, no, she's a writer. that it was like a female empowerment type of movie, and that it has a message, a very deep message, and it's not superficial, and that they because I saw an interview with Diablo Cody and Megan Fox where they were talking about how the hypersexualization of the movie, how they were promoting it as like just a teen slasher, lots of nudity and gore, and that's basically what it's going to be about, more for the boys and than the women. And then it turns out that it's more for, for girls. um and I guess I understand why but I don't agree that it's a deep film. I really don't. And I talked about this with my sister. I watched this movie with my mom, and they seem to really like it. But I'm like, I'm kind of surprised that that people can say that it's such a good film, because I wouldn't say that it's terrible, it's off. I would never watch it. Like, there's a reason why I still have it. But to say that it's really good, no, I think that's a lot. That's a lot. Because if you're gonna have a horror movie, this is supposed to be a horror movie, right? It either has to have a very dark environment, very menacing, very like there's danger at every turn. It has that vibe that is kind of like keeps you at the edge of your seat, or extreme gore, go all out, or the traditional elements of a vampire movie, make it fun, make it splashy. But this movie doesn't have any of that. It really doesn't. So I think I could have done with, and I don't say this often, but this movie needed a lot more nudity. A lot. Like, what's the rating? It's rated R, and it really shouldn't be rated R, because it really isn't that bad. It really is. And not bad in the sense that it's not good, bad in the sense that it's like naughty, it's like raunchy type of movie. It really isn't. Sexuality, bloody violence, language, and brief drug use. Well, I guess like they were like a little too harsh on it, because I think it could pass as a PG-13 movie just fine. I watched it on theaters, and not theaters. I watched that they showed it on TV, like just regular TV, and I don't know. But I know that they do censor things when they're gonna show it on actual TV. But no. It needed more nudity, especially having Megan Fox there. Not because she has to do is take her clothes off. I'm not saying that, but that's basically what the genre and what the premise of the movie kind of gave off. It's not just a promotion, it's like the storyline itself. And then there's like a super long lesbian scene between Megan and Amanda, which feels like it gives you like, okay, like it makes sense, but at the same time it really doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And I'm not complaining, like it's good, like at least they had that, but they were supposed to do other things. And then the goriness of it all, there's very little gore. So like Jennifer opens her mouth like this CGI effect and just gobbles a man, but we don't get to see anything. We really don't. And then she kills another guy. It's just like the way that she kills him, we can't see anything. That's boring, because the movie doesn't have anything else. So you're not even going to give us kills? I don't know. It sounds like I hate it, but I don't hate it. I'm just saying that it's not as deep and as good and as solid. And I've heard people actually claim that it's a modern classic, and modern by very modern classic. I wouldn't agree. I guess I'd give it a rating of 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, I would give it a rating of 6.5 out of 10. So it's not just like the. It's a little bit better, but I think it's a little bit better just because Megan and Amanda are in it, honestly. And like the guys also did a very good job. I recognize one of them from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, the boyfriend of Amanda. But let's get to Pumpkinhead now. Pumpkinhead, this is a classic. It's a classic from the 80s. The monster is in talks with any of the other great horror villains when we're talking about monsters, especially. This movie takes place in a very deserted area, literally desert like area, There's not like a lot of anything going on around there. There's this little shop, and there's like a 40-50-year-old guy. He has a son, probably 8 years old, maybe younger. Love of his life. He just cares for him, and you could see from the beginning of the film that he loves his son very much, as any normal father in the world would. But we get the introduction of these very rebellious, I could do whatever I want type of teenagers. They're riding motorbikes and doing all these crazy things, like dirt bikes. The dad has to run an errand, so he tells the kid, hey, can you just stay here, don't move, don't go out, just stay here in the shop, I'll be right back. And the kids, they're doing all this nonsense. They're obviously intoxicated, they've been drinking. So one of them runs over the kid, and most of them leave. One of them obviously decides to stay and is like, okay, can you go get help and I'll stay here with the kid. They don't just ditch him, but some of them do. When the dad comes back, he's obviously pissed off. He's very, very mad. You could see it. Reminds me of the pain that you feel in Jack Taggart's eyes and Jeepers Creepers 2, when they take away his son, when the creeper flies away with Billy. And that's what the movie's about, this one. The dad, after the kid dies, it doesn't take, I think by the time that he gets there, the kid is dead, or maybe he does a little bit after, but he ends up dying. And there's this tale about a witch deep into the nothingness of where they live. Not that where they live is ugly and it's nothingness, but like, I mean that there's nothing like stores, buildings, there's like just Mother Nature. He drives up there by forcing a kid to tell him where the witch is at, because he hears that there's a witch that she could do like this hex or this curse that will attack the people that have done you wrong. And I forgot to mention, but at the beginning of the film we see Pumpkinhead killing people, and the dad was a little kid back then, and they were like, don't open the door, there's this guy asking for help, knocking on the door, please help, but they don't open the door because they know about the legend of Pumpkinhead. If you open the door, he'll kill you too. He will kill whoever did the person wrong, and whoever gets in the way of him doing justice or vengeance, So he goes over to the witch, scary woman, probably even scarier in my opinion than Pumpkinhead himself. This woman is sitting there and is like, are you sure you want to do this? There's a very big price you have to pay. And the guy's like, I'll do anything. So he goes to the pumpkin patch thing and carries out a pumpkin, brings it. Is that what happens? I feel like I'm making this up. The point is that the old lady, is because I watched this like 3 months ago, but don't worry, I have a general understanding, and I have very like solid, clear opinions up in my head. The witch summons Pumpkinhead, and Pumpkinhead starts slicing and splicing all the teenagers. But then the dad takes a look at himself in the mirror, metaphorically, and he's like, you know what? I'm doing wrong. What I'm doing is not any better than what they did to my son, and just leave him out there to die. And also the fact that the other guy, the teen that stayed with him, he didn't want to leave him, and the other teens didn't want to leave the kid either. It's just that one of the bigger guys forced him to stay. He's like, we're not going to tell anybody, I have like, I'm on probation or something like that. Which tends to happen when you hang out with the wrong crowd. So he realizes near the very end of the film, that the only way to destroy Pumpkinhead is to destroy himself, because Pumpkinhead is a reincarnation of the dad, but only the bad things, only the thirst for vengeance. That's him. So if he cuts off his arm, it hurts Pumpkinhead. It hurts his arm. Likewise, if you shoot him in the head, then you shoot Pumpkinhead in the head. But you can't attack Pumpkinhead and think that he's going to go down that easy, because it doesn't affect the dad, and you have to affect the dad first. So the dad ends up committing suicide in a way, or dying of suicide, for the sake of the the rest of the people that are yet to be killed. And that's how it ends. Then the old lady, for sure, the witch, takes the little pumpkin back to the place, and I guess waits for somebody else to request her services. The movie, I like it. The movie, I think it's a very good movie. Is it outdated? Yes, and I don't say this often about old movies. Well, I mean some, but this is one of those movies that I wouldn't want. I can never say that I want a reboot. Honestly, I really can't, because those are some heavy words. I hate it. I dislike it when they like do reboots and they just do it like just money, money, money. They like leave out the essence of the original film. And plus, if the original one is already good, like this one is already good, but it is outdated. Like, I'm just gonna speak unapologetically. I would like to see better. What is it called? Like, it's not special. Yeah, I rather see better special effects. For the time being, they did an amazing job. Pumpkinhead is freaking cool. The witch was amazing, terrorizing. The acting was so great. The actors are amazing. They didn't just hire people because they're good looking. They hire them because they are good actors, fitting for the role, for their respective roles. It's enjoyable. It had some good kills. It has tension. It has ambience. But that's just the fact that, like, if you're one of those people that are like, oh, I respect old movies, but I just can't watch them because I get bored. Like, then this is not the movie for you, because the movie, like I said, is matter of fact outdated, in my opinion. Well, matter of fact in my head, not matter of fact in general. But nonetheless, it's still alright to watch if you respect horror movies, especially classic horror movies. You're gonna like this one. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I hope you already watched it, and that's why you're watching the review. If not, then I do recommend it if you're into these type of films. If you're probably like, should I not, but you're curious about it, watch it, because I don't think it's bad. I think that a lot of the new horror movies take from this movie a lot. Like, they got a lot of pointers out of this movie. It's a classic, and I do respect it. I would give it a rating of 7.5. I would give it a rating of 7.5 out of 10. And now, like, taking this rating into consideration, I would give Jennifer's Body a rating of 6 out of 10, because we can't have them so close together, because this one is a lot better in my opinion. So 7.5 and then 6 out of 10 in its category, at least for now. And I guess that's it for these. Thank you for watching.